Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys tuning in for today's video. Just sitting here stuck in a traffic jam, so thought it'd be a good time to do this afternoon's video. Guys, today I want to talk about fishing boat docks in the summertime of the year, and specifically I want to talk about the best type of docks for summer fishing, because some docks are better than others, and we're going to get into that and sort of give you guys some tips and advice on it. Also, guys, just a quick invitation out there. Just want to invite everybody to please go into the link of my links that I put in the description in this video. Guys, we got really good ways to support the channel in there. If you guys want to use and book my Tackle Warehouse link in there, Solar Bat links, Fish the Moment links, all that stuff in there is a good way to support the channel if you're inclined to do so. So really appreciate that. Okay guys, boat docks are some of my favorite places to fish in the summertime of the year. They're good structures all year long, but in the summertime of the year, they offer a lot of shade for bass. And when you're talking about fishing for bass in the summertime, even it doesn't matter if it's in deeper water or shallow water, shade is an important element. They relate to shade, they use shade, they live in shade all summer long as far as terms of feeding, ambushing prey, resting, and docks provide that along with other type of cover. So there's really two different type of docks that I like to concentrate on in the summertime of the year out of all the different type of docks that are out there. Because first of all, you have two primary type of docks. You've got the piling type docks that have the piers on them, like all the TVA lakes, or say like Lake Norman in North Carolina, something like that. And then you got the floating docks like you have in my part of the country, like here in Lake of the Ozarks or Grand Lake or Lake in Lanier, Georgia. So those are the two different type of docks. So there's two type of docks that are really good that the bass use a lot in the summertime. And one of them is for quality fish, and one of them is for just catching a lot of fish. Now the best boat dock if you just want to go get lots of bites and catch a bunch of fish, probably not going to catch very many good ones out there, but you can catch a lot of pound to 3 pound fish, is go to the deepest floating docks that you can find, specifically like marina or commercial docks. Now most lakes out there, even if they don't have a lot of residential floating docks, there are usually some commercial docks on the lake, and these are great structures for summertime fish, and they're usually over deeper water, but depending upon the water clarity that you have, the fish may or may not be deep on them. If you've got water clarity that's like under 3 feet, those fish will be shallow on those docks, even though they're over deeper water. And one of my favorite ways to catch them off a floating marina dock is on a jerkbait. And I'll just go and throw that jerkbait down the side of those marina docks. I'll throw them in the slips. I'll throw them on the corners of the docks. And those fish will just sit there suspended underneath those floats. Jerkbait is a really good way to catch them. If you've got even dirtier water, say for example your lake's only got like a foot or two visibility, swimming a jig or throwing a spinnerbait next to those docks can be good over the deeper water. Now if you've got cleaner water, let's say if you're in a clear water lake where you've got water visibility of over 4 feet, a good way to catch them on there is to pitch a jig or spoon in the boat slips themselves. So say for example if you got a boat in a boat slip, take like a 1 ounce spoon or a fairly heavy jig and pitch it as far back up in that boat slip as you can. Let it fall down. Watch your line as it falling, because a lot of times those fish will be suspended, and sometimes they're going to be on the inside part of the dock as far as like in 10 or 15 feet of water on the bottom. But as you move out deeper over that 30 to 40 foot of water, that's usually when they're suspended. So floating docks, commercial docks is a good way to catch a bunch of fish. Now as far as quality fish, it's sort of like a paradox. You want to go to the shallowest, dirtiest water docks you can find. Now, it doesn't matter if you've got a piling dock or if you've got a floating dock, there's always going to be some fish to be caught in those super, super shallow areas. One of my favorite ways to catch them, guys, is I'll go back into a major creek arm and I'll try to find the dirtiest water in that creek arm. And I look for those docks that only have 2 to 3 feet of water on the outside of them. Sometimes the front part of the dock could be on dry land, and even the front part and the back part of the dock can be on dry land, and the front part will only have maybe 2 foot of water on them. Those good fish will use that super shallow water, especially if you've got water visibility that's in that sort of that 12 inches to maybe 15 feet zone. That's when I usually like to pitch like a Senko, soft plastic stick bait, creature bait, or a jig in and around whatever part of the dock where I think there's going to be a fish. If there's maybe a crappie brush pile in there, I'll pitch it around that. If there's some shade, I'll pitch it around the shade. If there's some, pilings or cables or something like that, or just some type of irregular feature, I'll just hit those targets. But those super shallow docks, even if the water's hot, the water can be 90 degrees, and there's going to be some fish back in there, because a lot of them live back in there feeding on bluegills, minnows, shad that are moving back in there, and it's a super fun way to catch them. And also, guys, if you do have some docks that are the floating type docks in the back of those coves, again, swimming that jig next to those floating docks, even in shallow water, is a good way to catch them. And I've also caught them pretty good on that, on those little the little sub minus crankbait, like the Man's Baby One Minus, reeling it past those docks like that's a good way to catch them too. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna try to get through this traffic jam here. Just wanted to pass along that info for you guys, and we'll talk later.